Hey Michael, how's it going?
Hey, Kirah, it's going great. How are you?
I'm good. We're a couple days away from Fresh Voices, and I'm super excited for your talk. But before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your practice?
Awesome, Kirah. Well, I'm Mychal A. Bryan, and I'm the founder of the Oracular School of Astrology. And I teach astrology. I teach and practice astrology. I meet with clients, but I also run a 2-year program teaching people how to move into an astrological practice from being a raw beginner, not knowing anything about astrology, to really being confident and professional within this field.
Awesome. That's really cool. Um, and you said it's a 2-year program?
It's a 2-year program. I mean, I've been playing with several models of it, but we definitely pack a lot of information into it. A complete aside from my astrological life is that I'm a memory athlete. So I compete amongst a body of other people who have nothing better to do with their time and money in memory training, basically. So a part of the program is that I teach people how to memorize copious amounts of information. So that's the only way I could justifiably fit it into 2 years, because if it wasn't for that, it would be a much longer program. But yes, in answering your question, it's a 2-year program.
Wow, I didn't know that about you. That's pretty cool. What's your Mercury placement? I have to ask.
My Mercury is in Aries and it's squaring my Uranus. So,
Okay, there it
so
is.
yeah.
That's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, tell us about your talk.
Well, my talk is going to be on Horary Astrology and the Natal Promise, and it's a talk that I had done at the Kirah Astrology conference earlier this year. And essentially, what it is about showing people how this astrology that we practice is holographic. And by that, I mean that we receive a chart and we try to say, okay, how can I read a horary chart versus a natal chart? Or how can I read a solar return chart versus any other type of chart? And the truth about astrology is that if you have core foundational skills in understanding how to just practice good chart reading, then every single chart opens itself up to you and can be read. And this is something that I teach at Oraculos, and it's something that I'm going to be trying to share with people within the context of my talk, that if we just peel back our preconceptions about what the different branches of astrology are, and we just approach astrology like astrologers, then every single chart we pick up can be read if we apply really the foundational skills of astrology. And I call it the once upon a time concept. Like every chart we enter, we can enter it with this once upon a time theme, and that chart and the story of that chart can unfold from beginning to middle to end in the same way that you read any other story. So in this talk, I'm going to show people how I apply this concept and how essentially the horary chart ties back into the natal promise of that person, and how the natal promise of that person is reflected within the soul return of when that person comes and asks their horary question. So it's kind of like playing Sherlock Holmes with astrology, but it's going to be super fun. And I get so thrilled even thinking about it, because the entire purpose of this isn't about horary astrology or natal astrology. It's about showing people how we can practice a more integrated body of astrology that unifies all the various branches and threads of our practice.
Wow. So that's awesome. I'm really looking forward to that because yeah, I mean horary astrology is something that I have yet to dive into. Because there's this fear of like not like feeling like I mean there is a lot to it that I don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel like your talk's really gonna help, put some pieces together in my head and definitely for other people too. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm kind of glad I missed your talk at QAC, but now I'm like, that's okay because I'm gonna be I'm gonna be in it this time, taking all the
Cool.
notes. So awesome.
Cool.
Is there
Well,
anything else?
I'm
Oh,
super. No, no, I was going to say I'm super happy that you just said QAC because I had never actually heard anyone say it before. So in my mind, I felt so like afraid of saying it because I thought it was quack. But, but, but you're
Oh
saying
my
it's actually
God.
QAC. Okay, awesome. So QAC, I feel so much better now. Great.
Yeah, my Mercury is in Sag, and I'm really big on abbreviating things and making things like smaller and easier to say. So I'm glad I cleared that up for you.
Thank you so much.
Is there anything else you would like to share about your talk or your practice?
Well, I just want people to come out and to be a part of it. I'm working on a book project right now that speaks about astrology as a magical practice, and
Mm.
it's not necessarily about magical astrology or rather astrological magic. It's about how this field of astrology itself is magic, and this talk is going to be a very important touchstone for people to really step into how I feel about astrology as a magical practice. So I'm really excited for people to come and be a part of that. Uh, and that's pretty much it. I also have a podcast, like shameless plug. It's called the
Yes.
Oraculo's True Divination Podcast, and I really want for people to check that out because that's where I, keep the astrological magic flowing and growing every week. So I guess that's the only two things I like to add.
Awesome. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it, and I'm sure a lot of other people are. So thank you, and we'll talk soon.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Kirah, and awesome job that you're doing.
Thank you.